guys, Tony Pellegrino from GenRight Off-Road. This video segment is about the difference between a coilover, an internal bypass, and a bypass shock. So first off, normal coilover with a reservoir. This is what's called a speed-sensitive shock. So the faster you go, the more it's going to work as you go over the bumps. I'll give you an example. If you go down a road slow and it's got some big rollers in it, what it'll do is it'll blow through the travel. If you turn around, go fast back down the same road, the shock, the dampening is working because the valving inside is speed sensitive. So it starts to work and it's actually controlling the suspension. So now let's talk about an IBP. So an IBP essentially is the exact same coilover, but it's got a valve in the top that as the stroke comes up, starts to slow down the dampening additionally. These shocks are what's called stroke sensitive, where I told you the coilover is speed sensitive. So a bypass shock was originally designed so that as you were hauling and come into a corner where there's big bumps and stuff and you're on the brakes, it's not going to let the suspension just start bottoming out. It's going to slow the travel down and really help to dampen. And basically, you know, what you're trying to do is keep the vehicle from bottoming out, because as you bottom out, that's what starts breaking things apart. So what we're really after is, how do you slow that down? Put on an air bump. It's actually filled with nitrogen, but we call it an air bump. So, you know, normally on a coilover, you'd have like a 200 over 250 or a 150 over 200. So when you kick in that air bump, and that is a 700-pound spring rate, and when that kicks in, that's like having a bypass shock. The big benefit to the IBP is we've worked, whether it's with King or Fox, with them to achieve the right valving for a Jeep. So in combination with the proper spring rates, and they've also got adjustments. You can see the reservoir is a little bit more high-tech than the standard reservoir, which just has the nitrogen port. So you still add nitrogen to the bigger shock, same way, but it's got a special valve inside that allows you to adjust the compression. So on a King shock, you can change the compression setting, how hard or soft it is, as you load the vehicle. So if you're adding people, gear, or it's super light, you've taken people and gear out, you can change this setting and that will help the vehicle ride the way you want it. On a Fox, they have a high and low speed compression adjustment. So these two companies are really trying to dial that in. Now a triple bypass, or you know, actually they have more tubes than that now, 4 or 5 tubes as well on the outside, which most people know as like a race shock, is more tunable on site externally. So the reason they put them on race cars is it gives you the ability for each different track, you can solve different things, because on a race car, you're changing tires, you're changing tire pressure, you're changing gears, setup, weight in the car, front to rear. You're changing a lot more things than we would on a Jeep, and that gives you a ton more adjustability, not necessary for a Jeep. This shock does all the work. So, you know, here we've got a 2.0 coilover. This is a 2.5. A lot of you guys know that on the Terremoto, I'm running a 3.0. So obviously the bigger the piston you get, the more volume of oil you're moving, which is going to give you better dampening. So you just need to figure out which one's the best for what you're doing. And sometimes there's size limitations, like you just can't put a 3.0 shock on a TJ or a YJ because there's just not enough room in the frame. So some of those factors, we can help you determine what the right size is for your vehicle when you call in and talk to our experts. All of us here drive these Jeeps, ride in these Jeeps, You know, I'm constantly in there, and all of these guys have access to me to help handle the particular questions you've got about your build.